Welcome to Wonderslate. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updates. Topic for today's quiz is Structure of the Indian Economy and Demographics. Question number 1. As per the 1991 census, which one of the following groups of union territories had the highest literacy rate? Option A. Chandigarh and Dadra and Nagar Haveli. Option B. Delhi and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Option C. Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Pondicherry. Option D. Pondicherry and Delhi. The correct answer is Option D. Pondicherry and Delhi. As per the 1991 census, Pondicherry and Delhi had the literacy rates of 75.3 and 74.7 respectively. Question number 2. Which one of the following statements is correct? Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act, FRBMA, concerns. Option A. Fiscal deficit only. Option B. Revenue deficit only. Option C. Both fiscal deficit and revenue deficit. Option D. Neither fiscal deficit nor revenue deficit. The correct answer is Option C. Both fiscal deficit and revenue deficit. Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act aimed to bring down the fiscal deficit to 3% by 2008 and the revenue deficit to 0 by 2008. Question number 3. Which one of the following is the correct sequence in the decreasing order of contribution of different sectors to the gross domestic product of India? Option A. Services, industry, agriculture. Option B. Service, agriculture, industry. Option C. Industry, services, agriculture. Option D. Industry, agriculture, services. The correct answer is Option A. Services, industry, agriculture. Contribution of different sectors to national income. Services, 55.1%. Industry, 26.4%. Agriculture, 18.5%. Question number 4. Participatory notes, PNs, are associated with which one of the following? Option A. Consolidated Fund of India. Option B. Foreign institutional investors. Option C. United Nations Development Program. Option D. Kyoto Protocol. The correct answer is Option B. Foreign institutional investors. Participatory notes, PNs or P notes, are instruments used by investors or hedge funds that are not registered with the SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India, to invest in Indian securities. Participatory notes are instruments that derive their value from an underlying financial instrument such as an equity share, and hence the word derivative instruments. SEBI permitted FIIs to register and participate in the Indian stock market in 1992. Question number 5. Which one of the following statements is an appropriate description of deflation? Option A. It is a sudden fall in the value of a currency against other currencies. Option B. It is a persistent recession in both the financial and real sectors of economy. Option C. It is a persistent fall in the general price level of goods and services. Option D. It is a fall in the rate of inflation over a period of time. The correct answer is Option C. It is a persistent fall in the general price level of goods and services. Deflation is a decrease in the prices of goods and services. It occurs when the annual inflation rate falls below 0%, which is a negative inflation rate. This is different from disinflation, which is a slowdown in the inflation rate. This is a situation when inflation declines to lower levels but prices continue to rise. Question number 6. Which of the following is or are treated as artificial currency? Option A. ADR. Option B. GDR. Option C. ESTR. Option D. Both ADR and ESTR. The correct answer is Option C. ESTR. ADR is an American depository receipt that represents ownership in the shares of a non-US company that trades in US financial markets. GDR is Global Depository Receipt is a bank certificate issued in more than one country for shares in a foreign company. AGDR is very similar to ADR. SDR is Special Drawing Rights. It is an international type of monetary reserve currency, created by the IMF in 1969. SDR can be thought of as an artificial currency used by the IMF and defined as a basket of national currencies. Question number 7. When the Reserve Bank of India announces an increase of the cash reserve rate, what does it mean? Option A. The commercial banks will have less money to lend. Option B. The Reserve Bank of India will have less money to lend. Option C. The Union government will have less money to lend. Option D. The commercial banks will have more money to lend. The correct answer is Option A. The commercial banks will have less money to lend. CRR or the cash reserve ratio is the ratio of the total deposits held by a bank which it has to keep with the central bank of the country. Question number 8. India is regarded as a country with a demographic dividend. This is due to Option A. Its high population in the age group below 15 years. Option B. Its high population in the age group of 15 to 64 years. Option C. Its high population in the age group above 65 years. Option D. Its high total population. The correct answer is Option B. Its high population in the age group of 15 to 64 years. The demographic dividend is a rise in the rate of economic growth due to a rising share of working-age people in a population. This usually occurs late in the demographic transition when the fertility rate falls and the youth dependency rate declines. Question number 9. Which one of the following is not a feature of value-added tax? Option A. It is a multi-point destination-based system of taxation. Option B. It is a tax levied on value addition at each stage of transaction in the production distribution chain. Option C. It is a tax on the final consumption of goods or services and must ultimately be borne by the consumer. Option D. It is basically a subject of the central government and the state governments are only a facilitator for its successful implementation. The correct answer is Option D. It is basically a subject of the central government and the state governments are only a facilitator for its successful implementation. VAT, being a tax on sale or purchase of goods within a state, is a state subject by virtue of entry 54 of State List of the 7th Schedule of the Constitution of India. Since VAT or sales tax is a state subject, the central government has been playing the role of a facilitator for the successful implementation of VAT. Question number 10. Karl Marx explained the process of class struggle with the help of which one of the following theories? Option A. Empirical liberalism. Option B. Existentialism. Option C. Darwin's theory of evolution. Option D. Dialectical materialism. The correct answer is Option D. Dialectical materialism. The sketch of dialectical materialism given by Karl Marx explains that the dialectical principle is of universal application and all the development is struggle of opposites or conflict of opposites. Question number 11. All revenues received by the Union government by way of taxes and other receipts for the conduct of government business are credited to the Option A. Contingency Fund of India. Option B. Public account. Option C. Consolidated Fund of India. Option D. Deposits and Advances Fund. The correct answer is Option C. Consolidated Fund of India. Under Article 266(1) of the Constitution of India, all revenues, example tax revenue from personal income tax, corporate income tax, customs and excise duties as well as non-tax revenues such as license fees, dividends and profits from public sector undertakings RTC, received by the Union government as well as all loans raised by the issue of treasury bills, internal and external loans and all money received by the Union government in repayment of loans shall form a consolidated fund. Question number 12. A rapid increase in the rate of inflation is sometimes attributed to the base effect. What is base effect? Option A. It is the impact of drastic deficiency in supply due to failure of crops. Option B. It is the impact of the surge in demand due to rapid economic growth. Option C. It is the impact of the price levels of previous year on the calculation of inflation rate. Option D. None of them. The correct answer is Option C. It is the impact of the price levels of previous year on the calculation of inflation rate. The base effect refers to the tendency of a small change from a low initial amount to the current amount, which is translated into a large percentage and appears as large. It is usually used in the context of inflation. It indicates the change in the inflation rate in the current period with respect to the base period. Question number 13. In India, which of the following have the highest share in the disbursement of credit to agriculture and allied activities? Option A. Commercial banks. Option B. Cooperative banks. Option C. Regional rural banks. Option D. Microfinance institutions. The correct answer is Option A. Commercial banks. Commercial banks, 60%, cooperative banks, 30%, RRB and others, 10%. Question number 14. In India, deficit financing is used for raising resources for Option A. Economic development. Option B. Redemption of public debt. Option C. Adjusting the balance of payments. Option D. Reducing the foreign debt. The correct answer is Option A. Economic development. Deficit financing refers to the difference between expenditure and receipts. In public finance, it means the government is spending more than what it is earning. Deficit financing is a necessary evil in the welfare state, as the states often fail to generate tax revenue which is sufficient enough to take care of the expenditure of the state. The basic intention behind deficit financing is to provide the necessary impetus to economic growth by artificial means. Question number 15. Priority sector lending by banks in India constitutes the lending to Option A. Agriculture. Option B. Micro and small enterprises. Option C. Weaker sections. Option D. All of them. The correct answer is Option D. All of them. Priority sector lending constitutes lending to agriculture, micro and small enterprises, microcredit, education, housing, and weaker sections. Question number 16. Which one of the following groups of items is included in India's foreign exchange reserves? Option A. Foreign currency assets, special drawing rights, ESTs, and loans from foreign countries. Option B. Foreign currency assets, gold holdings of the RBI and ESTs. Option C. Foreign currency assets, loans from the World Bank and ESTs. Option D. Foreign currency assets, gold holdings of the RBI and loans from the World Bank. The correct answer is Option B. Foreign currency assets, gold holdings of the RBI and ESTs. In India's foreign exchange reserve, it includes foreign currency deposits, bonds, gold reserves, ESTs, and IMF reserve position. Foreign exchange reserves are an important part of the international investment position of a country. Question number 17. The national income of a country for a given period is equal to the Option A. Total value of goods and services produced by the nationals. Option B. Sum of total consumption and investment expenditure. Option C. Sum of personal income of all individuals. Option D. Money value of final goods and services produced. The correct answer is Option D. Money value of final goods and services produced. National income is the money value of all the final goods and services produced by a country during a period of 1 year. National income consists of a collection of different types of goods and services of different types. Question number 18. In the context of the Indian economy, open market operations refers to Option A. Borrowing by scheduled banks from the RBI. Option B. Lending by commercial banks to industry and trade. Option C. Purchase and sale of government securities by the RBI. Option D. None of them. The correct answer is Option C. Purchase and sale of government securities by the RBI. It is an activity by a central bank RBI to buy or sell government securities. The aim to open market operations is to manipulate the short-term interest rate and the supply of base money in an economy and indirectly control the total money supply. Question number 19. The main objective of the 12th five-year plan is Option A. Inclusive growth and poverty reduction. Option B. Inclusive and sustainable growth. Option C. Sustainable and inclusive growth to reduce unemployment. Option D. Faster, sustainable and more inclusive growth. The correct answer is Option C. Sustainable and inclusive growth to reduce unemployment. 12th five-year plan of the Government of India, 2012 to 2017, aims at faster, sustainable, and more inclusive growth. Question number 20. The terms marginal standing facility rate and net demand and time liabilities, sometimes appearing in news, are used in relation to Option A. Banking operations. Option B. Communication networking. Option C. Military strategies. Option D. Supply and demand of agricultural products. The correct answer is Option A. Banking operations. Due to the recession in 2008, the growth rate of the Indian economy had declined for the next few years from 8 to 9% to 5 to 6%. Even though the growth rate had declined, it never became negative. So, the GDP at market prices has always increased year on year for the last decade. Thank you for watching the video. If you'd like practice this quiz, then download the Wonderslate app now. Link in the description below. If you have any suggestion for us, feel free to leave comments. If you liked the video and want to see more of it, hit the thumbs up and don't forget to click on subscribe button to get more updates of the future videos.